As a lot of you know, I spent about 5 months staying in the Dominican Republic, and here are some of the things that I wish I would have done before I left. The first thing is check your amenities. So wherever you're staying, if you're going to stay in an Airbnb or something like that, especially if you're going to stay for an extended amount of time, you got to check, because every place you go doesn't have the same basically guaranteed amenities that somewhere else may have. So you may be from the US, you may be used to traveling in the US, but one of the things you may understand when you go somewhere else is that all amenities are not just standard everywhere. So you may think, oh, of course I'm gonna have hot water. But you may go there and not get hot water wherever you're staying because you didn't know to ask, hey, y'all got hot water? They may not have central heat in there. I didn't stay anywhere that did, and I stayed in a few different places. They may have air conditioners, so you need to ask, how many of them do you have? Are they in every room? Because you might be burning up because you're not used to it being as hot as it is there, maybe. Ask if the electricity is included. If you're going to stay there for a little while, a lot of times electricity is not actually included in your bill, your overall bill for whether you're renting the place or whatever. It may not be included, so you got to check that out because it can get really expensive over there, and electricity is prepaid. You also got to figure out how you're going to pay the electricity, right? If it's separate, you got to figure out, okay, how do I go about paying this electricity? There's usually a machine or something you can go to different places, but you wouldn't know that. I'm telling you that because I've been there and I know. But if you've never been there before, you wouldn't know that. So you'd be like, well, what do I do? Right? So you got to ask some of those questions before you even travel over there. One of the things that I wish I would have brought or knew about immediately, so it would save me some heartache, is a VPN. Now, I know you're like, what, a VPN? Why do I need that? A VPN is really important because there are going to be a lot of websites, and this could be any country you may travel to. There are going to be a lot of sites that you may not be able to access, and they're going to be sites that you are used to accessing. You may not be able to pay some of your bills here in the United States, in the Dominican Republic, because you can't get on the site to pay whatever bill you have because it won't let you get on that site from the Dominican Republic. So you want to use a VPN for that purposes. And heck, having a VPN works for a whole bunch of other stuff too. If you want to just be secure, you don't want people to know exactly where you are. There's a lot of things that a VPN can work for. But if you're going to a different country and you want to be able to access everything as if you were right here in the United States, you may want to go ahead and get a VPN. If you're going to the Dominican Republic, you want to have some pesos. I'm not saying you got to go get a whole bunch of pesos. I ain't saying you got to go crazy with it, just be throwing pesos all over the place. Like, hey, you get some pesos, you get some pesos. I'm not saying you have to do that. But you need to have some pesos, especially for tipping, which you need to learn the tipping process. But especially for tipping and buying stuff on the street. Because I'm going to tell you something also. Even in places that you would think they would take a card, they don't always take cards. I'm going to tell you that right now. A lot of places only take cash. It'd be places that you would think, of course you would take a debit card. Of course you would take a credit card. No, they won't. So you got to look into having some pesos on hand or you will get embarrassed. Know the exchange rate or you can get really surprised. Sometimes in a good way, sometimes in a bad way. You may not really know exactly what to expect. You may have over or underestimated what the exchange rate is going to look like. And people, I'm not saying that this is just in the Dominican Republic, this is anywhere in the world. People will take advantage of ignorance. That's just how it goes. If you don't know certain things, a lot of times people will just throw you any kind of price and you're like, well, what is that? What am I paying? All right, you don't know what the heck you're paying. You don't know what's going on because you have no idea of the exchange rate. So I would say that's something you want to take the time to learn. Also, you need to learn some of the taxes and gratuities that exist in that country. When you get your first bill from a restaurant, you're going to be looking. What is it? It's like IDBIS. I'm going to put it on the screen somewhere. But when you look at this stuff, you're going to think, what? This is about as much as the food was. What? Taxes are different in different places. They have different things that you have to pay for, different customs. So you need to look into that before you go there. That's going to make it a lot easier on you. I would also suggest a Google Map search of the area that you're supposed to be staying in. Uber can go crazy over there. You might be spending a lot of money on Uber. You might be struggling to find people who would come pick you up depending on where you are. So you need to make sure that you have a Google Maps outline of where you are. Like, how close are the things that I like? Is the neighborhood, like, am I looking around, not just the place that I'm staying, but the places around where I'm staying, are they comfortable? Is that somewhere where I'd be comfortable and want to be? If I had to walk to a restaurant, would I be comfortable walking to a restaurant in this area? Is there a restaurant that's even close to me in this area? Are there several restaurants that I could pick from, especially if you're going to be staying there for a little while? If you're going to stay for a month or so, do you want to eat at the same restaurant every single time? Do you want to have to take a vehicle when you don't have your car there, or you're not even used to driving in the Dominican Republic? So even if you rent a car, you might struggle. Is that what you want to do? Or do you want to just be able to get out and walk somewhere and just go to all the places that you want to go, or a lot of them, and be comfortable? You know, that's something you want to think about. And those are questions that you may only know, but you want to make sure that you take a good look at the lay of the land before you go stay somewhere.